Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. It's been 2 weeks. I hope your Thanksgiving was awesome. Mine was awesome until we decided to all get COVID, but we're all good now and everyone's healthy. Shout out to my Nana Margaret from finally being home from the hospital. I've been praying for you. I'm happy you're healthy again. And right now we're waiting for our guests, so we're just gonna riff about what we got coming up. Football season is over for us. You can hit that trombone sound. And I gotta make a huge shout out to the head coach, Zach, at Tucson High School. You know, seeing Tucson High back in the playoffs, man, that warms my heart because Tucson High, we got a bunch of kids, and there's no reason we shouldn't be in the playoffs for every sport, but we're doing really good things. Also, a shout out to our coach, Philip Stewards. Thank you for being the first coach to let me cover your guys and really giving me the opportunity to put my foot in sports broadcasting. You guys had a great season, but Dave, we got to talk about that a little bit, brother. Hamilton they had a huge roster. Can't hear you, brother.
It's always an eerie feeling when you see the teams coming out of the locker room, and it's like an endless train. You know, it was really eye-opening. You know, there's a lot of hype, and you know, there's a reason to have hype for Marana for sure. You know, them being the number 1 seed in the Open 8, and the level that they were playing at, and you know, these aren't any excuse. This isn't an excuse for anything. You know, they played hard. It was a close game. This was not a blowout. This was a competitive playoff.
Yeah, they were hot from the start, man. The first couple plays, they were already scoring.
Yeah, it was fast. And but the depth that you saw for a 6A team out of the Phoenix area, again, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah,
you know?
you even said it yourself that you don't even think they were playing offense and defense. They were freaking one-side players.
No, there was maybe 1 or 2 players I saw on the team that were playing both sides of the ball every now and then. But for the most part, you had 2 units, you know, and then you had your special teams unit that also had fresh guys. So there was a lot of freshness, a lot of depth. And, you know, in a game like that where it's that high speed, you know, that's going to come into play.
Yeah, you can kind of tell at the end a little bit that almost looked like Miranda was getting a little tired, but you know they fought the entire time. And like I said, congrats to all the seniors. hopefully you guys have amazing careers, whatever you guys do next. And congrats on a great season, Coach Stewart.
Hey, there's still one Southern Arizona left in
Micah Mountain versus Desert Edge.
Yeah, and so we should also, recognize Push Ridge won the state title in 3A.
Yeah, we will have that coach on in 2 weeks.
No kidding. That's freaking awesome. And then Micah Mountain in the 4A. So it's interesting. You see the lower levels, 3A, 4A, competing against the Phoenix teams and statewide teams.
Yeah.
But when you go past that and you get into 5A and 6A, I mean, we saw it with Tucson High as well, right? They were playing a team out of Phoenix.
Yeah, well, Desert Edge, that's who they lost to. So they lost to the potential state champions.
Yeah.
And they were a lower seed, man. That's a Cinderella story, kind of.
Yeah, it's interesting, So you had a lot of the higher seeds lose in 6A.
Yeah.
And then
see if you can look this up, brother. What was Desert Edge's record this year?
Desert Edge. Let's give it a shot. I know they had some L's because I remember.
Yeah, because they had a lower seed, man.
Yeah. I remember seeing some L's on there, and I don't remember who was Desert Edge. Football. Here we go. So they're at a good year. My apologies for not being familiar with with your location. 9-4, dude.
9-4. So 9-4 teams might have a chance to win the state championships. But Micah Mountain's undefeated, brother, and they got a legendary coach, Richard Sanchez, over there too.
Yeah. So Micah Mountain, I thought that was Nugent.
No. Richard Sanchez, he's the assistant coach over there. Nugent's the head coach.
You have Nugent and Sanchez in the same school.
Yeah, no wonder. No wonder.
So let's give some insight to people about Sanchez.
Sanchez, he was an old wrestling coach and old football coach for Sunnyside. He was winning state championships in football and wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of the legends of Tucson. Got to eventually have him on the show as well. But yeah, man, he's taking his role as an assistant coach over there at Micah Mountain, doing some amazing things. Also, shout out to my homie David Lopez, who's over there as an assistant coach. Dude, that dude's my age, and he might be having a ring already as a coach. So that's awesome. Yeah,
it's that's a heck of a combo. So check it out with Desert Edge. They actually started off pretty rough. They went 0-2 at the beginning. They lost to Liberty and Notre Dame Prep. Then they ended up losing to Higley. And they lost.
What was the score against Higley?
Higley was a blowout, 39-14.
Oh, shoot.
So, and then they play Verado. They lost to November. They lost 17-10 to Verado. But here's the kicker. Come the Cactus Shadows game, something is going on with this team. They just start blowing out people. They blow out Cactus Shadows 42-19 first round. They win Tucson High by 16, and then they beat Verado, who they had lost to previously, by 13.
Oh, they came back and beat them in the playoffs?
Yeah, they came back and beat them in the playoffs.
Oh, man, this is a Cinderella story. Let me ask you this, because you used to be a football coach. What do you think about what's it like being in playoffs? Because not always the best team doesn't always win.
No. Playoffs, the game of football is, for the most part, there's a lot of things to consider, right? The roster, the talent, the work you put in the off season, and coaching is very important too, and attitude. But when you get into the playoffs, Raul, you know this, man. It's a game of inches.
Yeah, 100%.
And mistakes. It's who can make the least amount of mistakes and make the plays that get those extra inches. And we got our guest coming in.
Cool.
He's chiming in. All right, let's bring him in here. Let's see, we got him. He's in the green room.
Awesome. We're gonna have Coach Sly Lewis in pretty soon.
Let me get his scene up real quick here. Da-na-na. I love bringing on people virtually. It's so cool.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. All right. Can you hear us, Coach Sly Lewis? See if he's got us. All right, here we go. Hey, you there, Coach?
Yeah, I got you now.
There he is.
Hey, what's up, Coach?
Can you hear me?
We got you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you
All
hear
right.
us?
Sweet. Yes, sir.
How you doing, Coach? Thank you. Hey, thank you.
I'm great. How are you doing?
We're athletes, man. We endure what we got to endure to make stuff work.
You got that right. You got to adapt.
Yeah. How's the day going so far, man? I like that.
You know what? Kind of
there.
hectic. What's that?
I like that you got the Pueblo logo in the background right there.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Morning's kind of hectic, but we got a lot going on today here on campus. There's the William Bell Wrestling Invitational, so we got like 48 teams on
Yeah, we'll
campus,
be
and
there
so
tomorrow to cover the individual championships.
oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice. So you
You
know
know
what's
what?
about. You know what it's about. It's a lot of moving parts today.
Yeah, definitely. You a wrestling fan at all?
You know what? Not really. I mean, I am. Support our all of our programs on campus. Coach Josiah Smith is an awesome dude. His wife Leticia, we went to school together. So I want to support as much as possible. So
That's awesome. You know, one thing
yeah,
we talk about going to school together, man. One of the cool things about you, you're back at the school you went to.
yeah. It's very very cool. To be home. And seeing all the different actually the same things just in a different light now that I'm an adult, so it's pretty cool.
Awesome. So one of my main goals, I always say this every single show. I want to learn coaches' stories because their stories might help a young kid going through the same situation. And you're blessed because you grew up in that area. So tell us a little bit what it was like going to high school at Pueblo when you were going to Pueblo.
It was an experience that man, I wouldn't change it for the world. It was you know I didn't have obviously, my family was middle class. Mom and dad both worked. My dad worked with the mines. My mom worked for this company called Bird Brown back in the day. So we did okay. And the demographics over here, obviously, it's tough. And at one point in time, it was like the South Side, and you didn't go past 22nd really unless you had to.
Yeah.
My grandparents lived off of 22nd, kind of by Palo Verde. So when you went over the Palo Verde Bridge, you knew you were going to the east side, and that's it was very humbling because you could see there's just a different lifestyle over there on that
Yeah,
side of
it's a
town.
whole. Tucson's so small, but I always say it's kind of broken up into 3 cities, and you can go 3 miles out, and it's a whole different world.
No doubt, no doubt. And so growing up, didn't have everything, but had enough. There were some tough times, but again, like you said, as an athlete and just in families, you endure and you adapt. So
Absolutely.
that's what we did. Made it
Let me
work.
ask you this: who was the first person to put a football in your hand, man? Who was Coach Lewis before Coach Lewis?
Man, that
What was he
that
like
would
as
be
a player?
that would be my uncles. They were older, they were tough on me. And so they were the ones that I always had either a football or basketball in my hand. So those are someone. And then as I got into youth sports, I was a Ram for 1 year. Shout out to Southwest Rams, and then I was a Redskin. I was one of I don't want to date myself, but I was one of the first 3 Redskins to ever sign up in the organization.
Oh,
And
nice.
that was back with Coach Juan Tadeo. God bless him and his family. He's not with us anymore, but he's someone that I always respected and looked up to. So that's kind of how I got started in youth football, and then obviously played basketball as well,
Nice.
junior high and high school.
High school. How's your guys' basketball team back then for Pueblo?
Pretty solid. We had athletes. There was you came to Pueblo, you knew you was going to be in for a tough outing. Coach O'Rourke was the head coach at the time. Very very detailed. He was with Fat Lever and those guys, so you couldn't tell him anything. He knew what the recipe was. So, but again, just held everybody to a standard in all respect. And unfortunately, again, he's not with us. But still to this day, some of the things he instilled in me and just everybody he came across, it carried a long way for our lifestyle.
Nice. So, who was your football coach when you were at Pueblo High School?
Curly Santa Cruz,
What are
Coach
some
Santa
of the
Cruz,
core values that you learned from him?
man, family, stick together. Making sure that no matter what happens, that you got to stick together and just approach the plan as much as possible to get everything that you put into it, you're going to get out of it, you know. And the thing that he was big on is making sure that, you know, you took care of each other. You know what I mean? Like you
Brother's
looked out
keeper.
for each other. Yeah, brothers. Yeah.
Awesome. So, how long was it after your football career was over that you started coaching? Because I think if I remember, it was pretty soon.
Yeah, like so after graduation, it was I started coaching youth football back in '94 with the Redskins, and so I've been rocking ever since. Been doing it ever
How old were you
since.
when you started?
I was 19 years old.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
What was because I can't announce where yet, but I'm actually gonna have my first head coach skip pretty soon.
Oh,
And
nice.
what advice would you give me being a younger guy coaching? Because you're so close in age, at least for me at the high school level, I'm gonna be so close in age. It's gonna be a little weird, but what would be your advice for someone my age getting into coaching?
So the biggest thing, there's two things. Got to be able to relate, obviously, you know, and connect with young people. But you also have to know that there's a boundary and there's a line that, you know, they have to respect you. And so there's a real, you know, there's a fine line that you have to make sure that you set that boundary, but also knowing, making sure that they know that you care for them.
Absolutely. Creating that atmosphere where they can look at you as a mentor, not kind of just like a dictator or something like that.
Correct, and that's today's kid. You know, you don't want to you don't want to have a kid where they're losing, um, basically the love for the sport. You know, you want to be tough on them, obviously, because you have to be, but also, you know, in very difficult times, knowing that they have somebody that they can come and talk to and open up to.
Nice. So, what was it like? How did you get to Sabino? Because I know you spent basically your whole coaching career at Sabino. How long was it after you were coaching youth football you got to Sabino?
Man, so I would say it was probably about 8 years. So, you know, growing up Southside, I was a Redskin. There, you know, obviously you play youth football games against the Cowboys. You know, that's basically like the Sabino feeder at the time, on the east side. And there was a coach that coached on that in that group, and his name was Rosh Robato. And so, anyway, fast forward, there's this adult league, Southern Arizona football, and he was the head coach. And so um, I was playing on the team, and one day, you know, he asked me, he's like, "Hey, why don't you come over and coach?" And I was just like, "Nah, that's I'm good. You know, that's the East Side. I'm a South Side kid. Nah, I'm good." And my brother, he was, you know, so I was like, "Hey, you know, Ross asked me to coach over with the Cowboys," and he's like, "Man, that would be cool." And I was like, "What are you talking about? We grew up disliking this man, and now I'm gonna
Yeah.
go coach with them." Like it was just weird, you know. And so
Was the first day of
my brother,
practice kind of weird?
yeah, oh, it was definitely like almost like you can't tell me what to do. But he was such a demanding leader that I respected him so much, and his leadership skills, and it's just really cool to play for him. So as we're going along, unfortunately, my brother was shot and killed, and you know that was one thing that kind of, you know, he's like, "What if? You know, what if you did?" And you know, Ross was there for me in that time, and so I said, "You know what, Coach, I'm going to give it a shot." And it was actually the best experience I could possibly have in my life. It changed my life, I believe, because I don't know if I'd be the same person if I didn't take that opportunity.
Yeah.
And so once I got to Sabino, you know, just, you know, learned under some great people, you know, stuck with it. You know, there was a very, very difficult times because, you know, again, as far as you got to be able to adapt to the people that are around you. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
so I couldn't be that Southside kid over there because, I mean, they don't know that, you know, they don't know that side. They're not understanding because they don't grow up in that environment. So it was a cool element to kind of bring to them, but, you know, with some perspective, and then just understood, you know, hey, whatever it takes to make sure these kids are getting the quality, you know, coaching quality as a person, and then just kind of marrying that together. And so, man, I had 20 great years at Sabino. I would never change it for the world. It was
championships, right?
Yeah, coached in 5 state championships. Fortunately, we won one last year. At a very good time in life, and then ultimately got a message about this opening here at Pueblo, and then just decided to take the plunge, and I'm excited for the future here.
Yeah, you said something interesting. You said you couldn't be that Southside kid. What does that mean? What are things you couldn't do, and what kind of adjustments do you have to have?
So I couldn't be, I guess you could say, as cutthroat, as hard edge at that time. Like you're about to embark on coaching. You're gonna have to kind of peel back a layer so they can get a feel of who you are without being so, I guess, tough on them. Because my mental state at that time was rough. You know what I mean? Like, this is the way things are going to get done. It's got to be done this way. And so not everybody, adapts to that. So, you got to be able to, some kids, you reach them with this. And again, I was dealing with the Southside kid. So Southside kid is definitely different from a kid at the Cowboys at Sabino at the time, because, just overall, families are together, mom and dad are in the homes, different perspectives. And so I had to, kind of dial it back a little bit and let these guys understand who I was so they can trust me. And then obviously, now I can kind of sprinkle that Southside flavor every once in a while. Like, look, this is the mentality that you got to have.
We got a show called on Live the Dream Media. We got a show called Southwest Flavor. So that's kind of funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. And then, once things got rolling, I could kind of, just instill that mindset of, there's kids over here on the South Side that all their whole goal is to beat you, because they don't know, and they're not going to stop. They're going to keep going. They're going to give you everything you have, which now entails up there were some kids that were kind of, obviously a little bit more fortunate, had a little bit more than obviously the kid from the South Side, because now they're taking it for granted. And it was just kind of instilling that, like, this sport, it doesn't forgive anyone. Like, you have to maintain an edge in your mind, like, this could be the last play. And so that was kind of like what was instilled in those kids.
That's awesome.
No, great kids at the time too. So a lot of talent.
Coach, we're going to take a commercial break right now. And guys, we will be right back with Coach Sly Lewis.
Thank you.
Welcome to Snap Fitness. This is my gym.
And my gym.
And this is my gym.
And my gym.
Here at Snap Fitness Marana, we welcome all kind people trying to stay healthy.
Ready to make us your gym? Click the link below, message us on social media, or give us a call, 520-400-4646.
We are Jet Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
Take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you go. Legendary like all my idols, coming for it all, and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date. So I grabbed my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burnt like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I plan to. Your moves could get canceled.
This episode is brought to you by Advanced Vision Care and Dry Eye Spa. Go check them out at 7552 North La Choya Boulevard across from Foothills Mall, 520-744-1711. Tell them Rue sent you in. You got some background going on, Coach?
Yes, sir. Well, there's a PE class, weight training class, and they're playing some weird music right now. So I'm like, let me shut my door.
Your guys' weight room is amazing, by the way.
Thank you. Again, there's a lot of people that before I was here, made some great improvements. Coach Allen, he did a great job with the weight room, and so we're blessed to have a very good facility to work in.
Yeah. Also, guys, I want to give a shout out to Ron Arias. I see him in the comments. He also said he had you on his radio show in the middle of the season.
The guys next door radio show. He said you were on earlier in the season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Nice. So I want to kind of talk about the transition between Sabino and Pueblo, because you talked about when you went from being on the south side of the Cowboys, it was a whole different world. What kind of world did you walk into at Pueblo compared to walking in at Sabino for your first year?
So, the thing about Sabino, the culture was already built before, so it was like, just now it's a lot of pressure, got to win, making sure that, you got a successful season is either you're going deep in the playoffs and you're winning state titles or competing for state titles. I was blessed to go over there. I was there for 20 years. Every year we were in the playoffs.
Were you with Jeff Burns when he was over there?
It's really, really cool because that experience, man, it's like no other. The games in November are the ones to remember.
Yeah.
So, obviously people are playing for, state title. If you're practicing on Thanksgiving, then that means you're either, competing for a state title or playing for a state title. So
yeah, awesome. Was Jeff Stearns was he your head coach when you were over there as well, or no?
Who's that?
Jeff Stearns.
So no, I came in after Skern. Jay Campos was the head coach at the time.
Okay. What kind of lessons did you
work for Jay Campos and then Ryan McBride the last 7 years?
With those two head coaches, what did you learn that you're taking with you to your first or your second season at Pueblo High School?
I would say with both coaches, just the overall landscape of making sure that things get done. However you need to get them done, making sure that they get done. The priority is to make sure that you put the best product on the field, and so I would say that's definitely what I've learned.
Just do your job, basically.
Yeah, do your job. Whatever it takes.
That's awesome. So let's talk. Go
ahead. And again, just coming, the transition to here, it's just accountability. That's number one. Discipline. That's something year one that has to be instilled in the foundation. I told these we have 12 seniors. You guys are the foundation for whatever happens from this point on. And there's a big stigma of ineligibility, the epidemic of vaping and things of that nature. We didn't have any of those problems this year. You know what I mean? And that took everybody on board from administration to parents to kids, and everybody dialed in. And we, at the end of the year, we had one kid that was ineligible. And so I want to, we didn't have many wins this year, but those to me are bigger than any win that you can possibly have, making sure kids are doing the right things.
Yeah, talk about that. How did you get that done? Because my dad used to actually be the principal of Pueblo a couple years back before Mr. R. I saw the struggle he had with some of the coaches making sure kids were eligible. How did you make sure everyone stayed eligible?
Well, first things first, making sure that you're working with teachers, having that, being able to connect with them, making sure that they understand that we have athletes that may have some difficulties and struggles. however we can make those things, if we can get here early, stay late. And if you have to miss a day of practice because this assignment is due and it's big, we got to do it. You know what I mean? If you're not doing that, then you can't play. That's regardless of the situation. So now also making sure with the parents that we're in constant dialogue of making sure we are getting our grades, because that was one thing that I wanted to preach, that we were not going to have kids ineligible at all,
And
because
was it
I've
one
heard
kid with all
the
3 levels or
stories,
just the varsity level?
all levels, all
Oh,
levels.
that's
So
awesome.
at one point in time, there was a comment made at a game from someone, an opposing team sideline. Not anyway. What was said is, "Didn't you guys have grade checks? I can't believe you have all these kids eligible."
Oh,
So that right there, man, that bothers me still to this day. But it also it drives me, because obviously they were counting more kids than they thought they were going to count to be eligible for that game. So that is a sign of growth in our program, growth in our young men and their families.
That's amazing. Let's go back to kind of tell me the story about what it was like leaving Sabino, because you were there for 20 years. How did you get in the hands of the Pueblo job? And let me ask you this: why did it take you so long to be a head coach? Because you've had such a great history as being an assistant coach. I'm sure you had job offers before this.
The whole job offer thing, like I had some opportunities, but one of them was kind of late in my career, and my son was going to be he was a freshman, and so I wanted to make sure that I went 4 years with him, and then after that, kind of whatever happens, and then after that, it was, I knew some things were going to be great for us coming in. The last 7 years with Ryan. Matter of fact, I told him, hey, you be you, let me be me, and I know that we're going to be able to build a great program and have a chance to play for a state title and win it in 7 years. And exactly to the date, we did it. It took a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, but we pulled it off. And I'll tell you right now, the relief, the stress, it was all worth it. I would do it all over again. It's one of those things again, and I wanted to make Ryan successful because he's a great person. There's so many people that, when you're an assistant, some people will just look at it as like, you know what? Okay, I did my job. I'm out. I wanted to make sure that he had that state title because, up until last year, there was only 13 coaches in Southern Arizona ever to have a state title, and I wanted to make sure that he did that. So whatever I could do, and our staff was awesome. We had great players and made it happen. Now with the whole transition, when I got an opportunity, I was asked about coming here. It was kind of surreal. It's like it still hasn't hit me, and it's weird because I don't know if it ever will now, a year removed. That the highest of high, and then it was almost like, okay, there's almost nothing to prove. You know what I mean? Like I know what I contribute to that success that was at Sabino. I gave there's no one can ever say that I didn't give my all. I definitely gave my all to all the coaches, all the players, all the administration. So it was like, man, what's next? And then the opportunity came up for here at Pueblo, and I was like, man, if I was ever going to leave Sabino, it would be for Pueblo. It would be for home. And so I didn't honestly think it was going to happen this soon. I really thought it would be like, a couple years from now. And then once it happened, I almost like didn't want to answer the text because I knew, once I did that, the ball's going to get rolling. And sure enough, talked to Coach McBrayer and said, hey, this is an opportunity that, I'm gonna look at and see what we got going on, and then everything kind of just snowballed from there, and decided ultimately leave Sabino for home.
Nice. So what was it? What was it like first day meeting all the guys going in as the new coach?
Man, I'm looking at myself. You know what I mean? I'm that kid. You know what I mean? So it was actually cool. And then obviously too, like I got friends I had friends when that when I was in school here that still rock with me, and so it was just cool, man. Like seeing these young
you guys are
men
also
and
getting some NFL guys helping you guys out with some donations too, right?
Yes, I did actually. Brooks Reed, a former player, great, great young man, came and did a camp for us. Matt Bushman sent us a jug machine. I just have, a great network of people that I've worked with over the years that they want to give back, and when you treat people right, good things happen.
Yep. Coach, we're going to take our last commercial break, and we'll be right back, and we'll get into a recap of the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome to Snap Fitness. This is my gym.
And my gym.
And this is my gym.
And my gym.
Here at Snap Fitness Marana, we welcome all kind people trying to stay healthy.
Ready to make us your gym? Click the link below, message us on social media, or give us a call 520-400-4646.
We are Just Sports Training, where our mission is to cultivate champions. This is where athletes come to get faster and everyday people come to change their lives. This is not a gym, but a community. Come get jetted.
About to take off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lot of y'all doubted on me. Now they like, wow, look how far you go. Legendary like all my idols, coming for it all, and I can't wait. Success just called and I got me a date, so I grab my ambitions and I'm on my way. Cross the wrong line and it's bad news. Might get burnt like a candle. We too hot to handle. World at my feet like a sandal. I only move when I plan to. Your moves could get canceled.
This episode is brought to you by Advanced Vision Care and Dry Eye Spa. Go check them out at 7552 North La Choya Boulevard across from Foothills Mall, 520-744-1711. Tell them Rue sent you in. What's up, Coach? We are back.
Yes, sir.
So, going into the season, when I watched you guys play, the one thing I can really tell from the community is that Pueblo Warrior football is back. The community is back involved. What did it take reaching back out to the community to kind of show them, like, hey, we're changing the culture now?
I think you got to be truly genuine. You know what I mean? And in today's time, you can look and watch a game from your phone, your tablet, but the high school atmosphere for football is, it's like no other.
Yeah, that Troya game was freaking, that was a fun game.
Yeah, it's funny because a friend of mine was like, man, flew in, and he was like, man, it was like being at the swap meet, but at a football game as well, because we had so much stuff going on. We had all the trucks, we had
homecoming too,
arts and crafts meetings. It was awesome. It was a great experience. Great experience for our boys to kind of, they needed that. I wanted to bring that to them. I think just creating atmosphere as well for people to, want to join us, for the future. And then ultimately, the families being connected, and everybody having a good time and some great football on display.
Yeah, dude, the best part of that whole game was seeing you carry that belt out after you guys won. That was like the video I posted when you were coming on the show. I'm like, that's
Yes.
awesome. That's how you know you're a player's coach right there, when you can do stuff like that.
Oh, I didn't know you guys did that.
Yeah, no, that's one of the videos I saw. You're holding up the belt after you beat Troy like that.
Yeah.
That's
I was a little fired up. Rivalry. Obviously, there were some things that took place before the game, and so I was fired up, and I just wanted to make sure that our players were represented in the right way, and they did their thing on the field, and man, I was so proud of them.
nice. Was that rivalry as big as it is now back when you were playing as well? Or was it more Sunnyside? 'Cause I know Sunnyside used to be a pretty good one too.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. It's a little different, because back then you didn't have any alternative to you went to games. You had to go view games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can, like I said, you can view it on your phone. So it's not as big, and I don't feel like it's even maybe competitive, like talking. The talk before the week.
Yeah.
It used to be crazy around here back in the day.
Oh, no.
But again, like you're saying with Sunnyside as well, those Southside schools, so much pride over the years. You want to make sure that you play your best game.
Yeah, you got to protect your block.
Bragging rights. Yeah, bragging rights for the rest of your life. Hey, I'm that block guy, so what's up? You know what I mean? Like, you remember that day, and so that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah. So before we went on break, we talked about what it was like the first day you went in. What was it like having this culture change? Because when I was a senior in high school, we had Oscar Romero, who's also my uncle, who was at Tucson High for years. Then we had Mark Morris come in, who's a whole younger guy, different style. And some of the players, they froze. They were almost scared and to the point where they wanted to quit. How did you make sure everyone got on board with this new style that you were trying to produce with Pueblo High School?
Well, I think that I'm a player's coach. Always have been, always will be. I know I do right by kids, regardless of the situation. So it's one of those things where just try to instill brotherhood, family, and the ultimate goal is playing for each other at a high level. And so but it takes discipline. This sport, you can't just do it. And sometimes it's got to be every single moment. So we honestly, like, everything that we went through this year, we had some injuries. I said if we were eligible and healthy, I felt like we were going to have a decent season, a good season. Okay. We obviously had some injuries that took place this year that I felt like set us back. But each time that we took the field, or Monday when it was time to show up for practice, everybody was all in. They gave it what they had. So what that tells me is my staff was able to connect with these young men as well and make sure that they brought the best out of them, regardless of the score, regardless of the situation, that they got coached up, they got prepared, and they did what they could. You know what I mean? You can only do so much with guys that are not in the positions that they're supposed to be. So now you have, as well with the kid today, you have to be player friendly. When I say player friendly, like, if you coach them, you have to show them what they're doing. You have to show them what the result could be in that moment as well. And so we practiced, like, walking down to the stadium. We practiced that. Walking from the field to the weight room, every little thing, every little details, those things are all practice. So they don't look like they're out of character. So they know what's coming.
Yeah. So with your guys' season, I always say, like, your record doesn't really show the effort you guys put in, because you guys were grinding every single game, no matter the score. How are you able to make sure these kids stayed positives in a season where it wasn't going the right way? Because it also takes, even though it takes a great coach to win, it also takes a great coach to deal with adversity.
Yeah, and we dealt with a lot of adversity this year, and that's why I say each Monday when they came back, it was like, the slate was clean. What do we got to do for this week? And I feel like just for me as a coach and now being head coach, it was growth for me because obviously, man, I want to win and I'm
Yeah.
greedy. I want to win now. So, but I got to see different kids in the growth that they had from the time like I walked on campus to where they wouldn't even make eye contact
Oh,
with
shoot.
people. To where now they're looking people in the eye. They're saying, yes, sir. They're shaking hands. Multiple kids saying, you know what? I want to give up this. This isn't good for my life. And that's the vaping part. So those things behind the scenes, behind the closed doors, and I'll take
Those,
it. Like those are huge wins.
Coach Skirns, he was actually the first guy I ever had on my show. One of the biggest things he said is it's not about the wins and losses on the field. It's about saving kids.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're saying stuff like that, man, because one of my goals in life is eventually have a nonprofit for drug and alcohol abuse. That's one of my main goals. I've been around educators my whole life, and I want to do anything I can to help kids graduate high school and hopefully go on to something great afterwards. And to hear that you're just doing the small things like getting rid of vaping, that's a gateway thing to other stuff. So that's amazing what you're doing over there, Coach.
Yes. No, thank you. And that's again what you're saying as far as the graduation. I want 100% graduation rate. So we're going to have 12 guys. Whatever we got to do to make sure that they get to that stage in May, we're going to do it.
Yeah. I got to ask you, because I've never heard a coach do that. How the heck did you get kids to stop vaping, man? Because even kind of being in the scene where I'm at, man, people do it like crazy. They do it like if they're drinking water with it or something.
Well, ironically, I was going to give them a day off, and we were going to have a movie day. So I go and scramble and get everything set up, and actually I'm walking on campus, and I see this young man vape. Like I see smoke, and I'm like, I thought it was one of our guys. So I'm like, man, like I got to get this situated, and it wasn't one of our guys. And so from that point, I was like, look, I brought it in. I was like, if you're doing this, I don't want you in my program. I don't care how good you are. I don't want it because we can't be the program we want to be if we do this. I don't care how good you think you are. You can't do it. So from that, it was like, okay, now I put together a contract as well. So I had a parent meeting. Before you could participate, you had to have this signed. In that situation, now you have the first offense. Your teammates are going to handle however what your punishment is. The second time, there is no punishment. You're cut from the program. And so, with that being said, I had nobody break that contract. Now, ironically, I would say, some weeks past, I had some young men come forward and say, Coach, I really, really want to quit. I know this is something that is part of, my life, and I don't want to do it anymore. And so my job is, like you saying, to save people. So who am I to, if you're coming to me in a moment of that tells me that you want to be better, that you want to get better, because it's not easy. I've dealt with the drug addiction in my own family, so I know how that could be, very, very hard. And so for those young men to do that, we got them help, and right now they're on the straight and narrow, and I'm super proud of them for that.
That's amazing. Changing the community is so much more important than changing a record on the football team, man. That's amazing. Looking back at this season, if you could think of two things that you need to adjust moving forward for next year, what would they be?
Probably creating more depth. We just when guys went down, it was kind of a plug and play situation because you just don't have enough depth, and that's the thing that we need to build is depth. The teams that are in the playoffs right now and finishing up, everybody gets injuries, everybody gets banged up, so you got to be able to have depth to sustain a season. So
Yeah, no,
that would be
me and Dave were just talking about Hamilton, and when they played Marana, their depth is so much more than Marana. Marana was the number 1 seed in the Open 8.
right. Yeah. So I mean, it's not rocket science. You got more numbers. You got you're able to do more things because guys go down. That's just the way it is. And obviously Hamilton, that's a whole different level of when a guy goes down, they have a guy that's a second guy, possibly even a third guy. Marana, I'm sure they have, their top notch guys. They probably have a guy after that, but maybe not that third level. So it just dictates a lot, when you can build from a bank of different numbers, that just it helps out. So building depth is huge for us.
That's awesome. What do we have to look forward for next year? Who's your guys? Who do you need to keep an eye on for next year coming up?
So I think there's a couple guys that that didn't get to play this year, for season-ending injuries. Andrew Armenta, I'm excited about him coming back. He's one of our linebackers. He's a stud. Anthony Sanchez, we call him Boy. Fernando Garcia, he's a receiver slot kid. I think he's one of the fastest kids in the city. Excited about his growth. He came on as a kick returner as well, and he was all region, all first team. So with that, I'm excited for him. Our quarterback situation, Roman Otero and Manny Dorme. Seeing what these guys can do, battling out.
Oh man, you got 3 guys battling for the QB spot.
I got two. I got 2 right now. So yeah, Roman and Manny. So I'm excited for their growth. One thing that I think, even for myself, I went into it where we need to make sure that we adjust to them as well. As far as, like, I have my system, it's been very successful, but also we want to do stuff that can accommodate them and what their strengths are. So that's something that me and my staff we're evaluating right now. So for this next year, so we can be better.
Nice. You already counting down the days opening night?
Oh yeah, we have a counter outside right there in the weight room. Yeah, we haven't hit it yet, but I'm definitely taking in my phone. I'm taking down notes and making sure, man. And then schedule wise, we'll see what we have, because this is going to be a whole different realignment. All that stuff is going to be possible. So we'll see what happens.
Is there a chance you guys might be moving divisions as well, or just regions and stuff?
Who knows? It's one of those things where the 2-year block is up. And so now, different things can happen. I want to, get back to the playoffs. This is the first time in 20 years I haven't been a part of anything in November. I do not want to be home ever again. My wife didn't even want me at home either.
Eating a pumpkin pie.
Yeah, and it was funny because, I took like the first week off and kind of, shut everything down, and it's just not me.
What's it like after the season for you? Because I know when I was playing baseball, man, when the season was over for me, I would almost be like bedridden sick. I think I was like holding my body, making sure I didn't get sick, and I couldn't move for like 2 days afterwards. So how was it for you?
It was definitely like that, and it's funny because I went Shamar Berryhill, former player at Spino. I went to go watch him. And so I'm getting, texted, hey, how does the game look? And I was like, really? I feel like I'm at a wake right now because I hate being here. I'd rather be, on the field coaching, man. And I take losses very, very hard. I take losses like funerals, so I don't like them. So I don't want to be a part of that. So definitely, like, I understand what you're saying. It was hard to get out of bed because I'm like, what for? We ain't got nothing to do right now. But wanted to also instill with our guys like, hey, we can't wait till January to get ready. We need to start, setting some things up. That way, when January hits, we can hit the ground running.
That's awesome. Coach, thank you so much for being on the show. One thing I got to say, man, with Pueblo High School, you're doing an amazing job, not just helping these kids on the field, and you're doing an amazing job helping them off the field. That's going to last them a lifetime. So thank you for everything you're doing over there, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on. You guys are awesome. Anything I can do for you guys are always welcome. Just give me a shout.
Awesome. And real quick, guys, I got to give a shout out to my man in the director's box, Dave. Show yourself real quick. Coach Dave right there. He's been putting in some work with some technical stuff we had during the show. Thank you, brother. Hey, he's my coach of the year right now. So, but thank you, Coach.
Hey, thank you.
Hopefully see
Great
you
job.
Saturday for the wrestling tournaments, and good luck next year.
Yes, sir. Hey, you know what? I want to give a shout out because I heard your commercials as well. So Bobby the Jet, hey, all respect to him. He's a great young man and cultivating the champs. He's a good young man, and we've had a great relationship over the years, and
awesome.
I'm great to hear that he's helping you out with that as well. So all respect to everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Hey, thank you, guys. We'll be back next week. See you guys next week, guys.
Thank you.